Many years ago, in 1970, I was 25, the mother of a 14-month-old daughter, and recently separated, mostly amicably, from my husband of 5 years. I met a man and was swept off my feet in love with him. He felt the same way about me. We decided to make a commitment to one another, but felt that our new relationship would have a better chance to thrive if we left the United States and moved to Denmark, where Claes was from. It would give us a fresh start away from the world I was leaving behind along with my husband. So, as only a young and some thought foolish person could do, I made a leap of faith and left my own world for that of another. I moved to a country where I didn't speak the language, knew almost nothing about the life, the culture, the day-to-day things that made Denmark, Denmark. Of course, there was trepidation. What if I didn't like it there? What if Claes's parents didn't accept me or my little girl? What if Claes wasn't the fine man I thought he was? After all, we had only known one another for 7 months. In spite of my concerns, I believed in my heart that Claes was the man with whom I wanted to spend the rest of my life. So a few days before July 4th, 1970, I took a deep breath and with Claes and my daughter Leah in tow, flew 6,500 miles away from my birthplace, Chicago, to Copenhagen to start a new life. As neither of us had jobs, we had no choice but to stay with Claes's parents until we could get settled. When Claes found work, and hopefully I would also be able to secure employment, we would be able to get a small apartment. The following poem expresses the experiences and feelings I had those first few months as a stranger in a strange land. Barbarian. Those first months living in Denmark, the family's careful politeness bewildered me. My casual American manner confounded them. People looked like me, but thought differently. Elsa and Axel were formal, even distant. I felt like a guest visiting for a few days. What kept me going was Claes, his patience, his constant assurance that we could make this work. Once I learned there was only one way to do things, Elsa's way. She tolerated no deviance. Dishes and cutlery should be cleared, washed, and put away in a certain order. Wine glasses must be dried with a flour sack towel, Elsa intoned, never with terry, as if it was a sin. So many rigid rules. I felt I could never live up to her expectations. After one Sunday meal, I dried a heavy crystal glass, with a flour sack towel, of course. It slipped, fell, broke into pieces. Elsa and Annetta, Claes's sister, stared in shock. My face burned in shame. I bolted upstairs to our tiny room, threw myself on the narrow bed, sobbed, sure I would never be accepted. Claes followed, tried to comfort me, but I wasn't having any. I knew that my clumsiness had ruined everything. Your concerns don't reflect reality, he whispered. My parents are Danes, not Americans. They are excessively polite, rather reserved. If a Dane sees someone cutting their meat with the wrong side of a knife, they murmur, "We have found the knife works better if you use it this way," he pretended to cut. You Americans are likely just to blurt out, "Turn the knife over, dummy." My parents don't dislike you. They just need time to understand your unfamiliar ways, just as you must get used to theirs. His loving eyes were soft as they gazed into mine. My sobs slowed, then stopped. Elsa and Axel were just reacting as Danes. I could see them facing the same dilemma as me. Could I expect anything else? Slowly, I learned to blend into Danish life. I stopped thinking and reacting solely as an American. 5 years in Denmark made me a world citizen. Elsa and I never became soulmates, but she softened. I learned when to hold my tongue and when not to. How to see the world through partially Danish eyes. My mother-in-law learned to appreciate my better side, stopped looking at me as if I were a barbarian.